Looking to learn a new skill and get in shape at the same time? Look no further than our 6-week beginner boxing course. You'll build your strength and endurance, improve your coordination and reflexes, and gain confidence in your ability to defend yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the time has come for the main event of the evening. One time for the undisputed champions of the community. It's go time!
One, two. One, two, one, two. One, two. What was your childhood fight record? What was your record? Street fighting. What we got?
I wasn't a fighter.
So undefeated.
Undefeated, yeah.
Undefeated.
Yeah.
One,
Yeah,
two.
Nothing.
Yeah. One, two.
No one wanted to mess with me.
Two. Boom. Two. Two. Boom. One, two. Got it. Hey, who's your favorite employee?
Ooh. I have a favorite employee.
Yeah, he does. He's lying.
He's
He's lying. He has a favorite employee. He told me off camera. I'm just letting you know.
I mean, I will say Deb
See?
has a lot of smiles.
Yeah,
I would say
Deb is a smiles.
Our secretary,
Yeah.
she's great, man.
He also told me who he wanted to punch. But we're not saying anything about that. 1, 2. 2. Walk him. Walk him. Bob Ross, Mr. Rogers, 3 rounds of action. Who's winning?
And Bob has some very hidden anger.
Bob Ross has hidden anger.
Yep.
He likes Bob Ross. Zeus, you pick Bob Ross too. 2, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. So if you had to change Community Outreach's name to something seductive, what would it be?
Something seductive.
Come on. Come on.
I gotta think here. That's a hard question. Always here?
Always here. I like it. Boom.
Let's try
Always
that.
here. "20 seconds straight. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ready?
2,
Go.
straight.
2, 3, 4, 5,
This is what I'm
6,
talking about.
7,
And while you're doing that, I want you to think about this question because you need to answer it. So when we're done, you're gonna answer this one. You cannot not choose bikini, tighty whities, or commando.
Okay, 20.
That's it. What you got? Whew.
Out of all those, I would say whitey tighties.
Yeah, all right. Comfortable. We're all
Yeah.
about comfortable, and he's loyal.
Yeah.
He's loyal. He goes back to that. Would you wrestle a bear to raise money for community outreach?
Ooh.
And you don't have to
Is
say
this
who
a
that
dated?
is. No, live. It's a
Live
baby.
bear?
It's a baby. It's a baby grizzly.
I could
So it's
probably
only
do
what,
that.
300 pounds.
I could do that.
You got it?
I think so.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Especially after you learn
Yeah.
the combination. So you got it. Let's get it going. Let's get back in the ring. Give it up for Brett, y'all. We like it. Huh? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to In This Corner with the Champ. I'm your host, Manny Gutierrez, the champ. People say that with love. They don't hate that at all. Anyway, my guest today is a leader of this community. He's been in the service field for a very long time. He's the head honcho, the man, the myth, the legend, director of community outreach, Brett the Hitman Quall. That's what how you doing, Brett, man?
Doing great. How are you?
Glad to have you, man. First of all, what'd you think when you were getting here? When you said, okay, we're gonna go do a podcast, and I said, get your workout gear. What'd you think?
Thought we're gonna be sweating a lot.
You're gonna be sweating. Did
Yeah.
you sweat a lot?
A little. Yeah, I did actually.
A little something?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad we got the blood
Yes.
cleaned up because that got
Yeah.
weird.
Yes, it did.
I didn't know you were a bleeder. Like,
It-
it's like, I'm sorry, Brett. Your wife don't get mad. So let's talk about, this is an opportunity for us to really give flowers to people that we feel like are champions of the community, right? Like, and for what you guys do at community outreach, you're absolutely in that category, and you being the head of that team,
Yeah.
and fairly new, right? Fairly new director, right? So tell me about that. Tell me what made you get into human service work? Why'd you end up doing that? Tell me about that passion.
Yeah, so I mean, with me, like, I have a very compassionate heart. I've always had a compassionate heart. And where I was at before getting into human services was just not a good fit for me. And so I was looking for a new job. And my mother-in-law actually is the one that shared the position at community outreach, where it was crisis care at that time. And read the description and like noticed you're able to just like kind of sit down and just talk to people and hear their stories and help them if you can. And it was something that really intrigued me. So got into it and have been doing it ever since.
So on your road now, because you started off as caseworker then? Yeah. Take me through that. What is that like going from that position, right? Part of the team, seeing clients every day. Now you're at the top. What's the transition like?
Yeah. I mean, it's a very big transition because you're overlooking all the programs now instead of being in it every day. But being able to understand the programs is really nice and be able to understand kind of what they're going through when they're meeting with the clients and who they're seeing has been really good, and being able to help the staff when they're going through a rough patch of people coming in, it's easier to be there for them, and that's what I appreciate a lot from it. So.
No, I appreciate that as well. I did it for almost 17 years.
Yeah.
I was in human services, so I totally get it. Knowing that, who or what were some of your biggest influences? You know, getting into this field or making you decide, you know what, I think that's the field I want to go to. Who would you say?
I'd probably say my dad, actually, because he is a pastor, and so he sees a lot of people every single day.
PK.
Yeah.
You're
Yep.
a PK.
PK.
All right.
Yep.
Those are
Wasn't a
dangerous.
PK the whole time. My dad was in banking before that, but he was in youth groups. He was a youth group leader. He's been really involved with church. And so having this as a faith-based organization was really intriguing as well. But also like seeing how much compassion he has, and my mom also, they both are very hospitality focused.
Yeah.
And so being able to be that hospitality focus for people coming in our doors and being able to like give them the benefit of just letting them sit down and talk is awesome. And being able to
What
tell
would
them.
you say? What would you say is important for that? Like, how do you, when you want somebody coming through the doors of community outreach, if you guys come in, what is it that you guys do specifically that says, hey, you're gonna feel at ease? It's gonna be almost like you said, hospitality when they walk.
Yeah. I mean, our secretary, she's amazing. She always has a smile on her face.
Yeah.
She's really, really welcoming. But other than that, we really give the opportunity for them to speak and give them opportunity to like just tell their story and give them opportunity just to talk. A lot of people that are coming through our doors have been going through a lot of different hoops of trying to get to us. And so it's a moment of them to be able to just sit down and just talk. Right. And our caseworkers are ones that can read the nonverbal cues. Right. So while they're talking, they can really see, okay, you're in here for this, but really we're needing to look at this as well for you. So really helping them with their whole self and helping them feel hope and helping them understand that we're there for them.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think one of the most important parts of being in the human service field or helping profession, and I think sometimes we can overlook, is people need to be heard, right? They want to feel heard, and it's not necessarily they want the answer that they want, but they want to know that they were actually heard.
Yeah, they don't want to feel like a number.
100%, 100%. So this is called In This Corner with the Champ, right?
Yeah.
Big gold belt here, right? You're a champion
pretty
in the
great.
community. It is great. You know what I mean? I wrestled 17 times and boxed 12 in 2 hours to win this.
That's impressive.
Yeah. One of them was an alligator. That was tough, but
Yeah.
we got through.
How are you still standing? I don't know.
Because I'm the champ.
Okay, yep, that makes
That's how it
sense.
happens. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. I heard at the beginning too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure. Okay, just as long as we got that part. Speaking of champs, what would you say are core characteristics? What makes a champion? If you had to think about a champion, whether it be champion in the community, champion in athletics, I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
What are some characteristics of a champion?
Perseverance is a big one that comes to mind right away. Always chasing those big goals, and you have to really, really pursue them. Sometimes you have to change your goal, but I feel like the champions are very much like they're in the moment. Just like we were over there with boxing, like you're always in the moment, ready to go for the next jab.
Yeah.
You always have to have your mindset ready to go for that. So I think perseverance is a huge one for it.
I like that. I like that. Anything else you can think of? Another one?
Integrity would be another one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, because I have my own little definition in my head for integrity. But I always say, it's, what you do when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
So when you're a champion,
Yeah.
how does that apply? Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, it's the things that you don't see. You only see usually the matches or something like that, but you don't see their workouts. You don't see them consistently staying on their diet. I feel like you're always, again, going with the jabs, but also with that, like you're always making sure you're on top of everything. So like you're working on a ton, you're doing all that, but the only thing that people see are just the events.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that goes behind it.
What would you say for community outreach? What are some of the things people don't see that maybe they take advantage of or they don't, or take for granted, not take advantage of, but take for granted? What are some things behind the scenes people aren't seeing from you and your employees?
I think it goes back to what we said, like, we really want them to feel like they're welcome there and also that they're seen. Because I feel like that's something that's very easy to be pushed away. I feel like here in Sioux Falls, you see a lot of people on the sides of the road. And it's very easy just to drive by them and not notice them. But when they come through our doors, they know that they're welcomed and they know that they're going to be talked to and be able to be shown the best way that we can assist them.
I think that's important for people to know, because a lot of times we only get the results, right? They come out whether they got help or they didn't get help, and it's like they don't help anyone, and that's kind of what we're left with in the public. But so to hear that part is to say, okay, there's a lot more going on back there than what's being spoken about.
Yeah.
Here at Think 3D, we say nothing of significance happens without intention. Right? That statement, how do you apply that to your life? How does that fit in what you do, whether it be as a dad, a husband, director, or all of it? How have you applied some of that?
Yeah. It's like, so I just heard a story last week of there's two guys that get together and they always say, I'm going to be a better husband than you today. And so it's like a competition for them. And so
That's pretty cool.
they always like text her, I'm going to be a better husband than you. So after that happened, I text my buddy and I said that to him and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, let me give you the background. And
It got weird for him.
yeah. So then we talked about it and now we text each other every day, just like, hey, I'm going to be a better husband than you. And so
how many wins? How many W's? I'm all about W's. How many W's you got?
I mean, to be completely honest, it's not really a win though, because it's like just making sure your wife is loved and treasured. I guess that is a win.
That's a huge W.
Yes.
Because then you
So it'd be a win every single
bloody
day.
thing again if you didn't. She punch you in the face.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I would say every day is a win then for us, because both of us are really trying to pursue that,
That's
but also
huge.
making sure we're making them feel
That's
loved.
good.
So
That's good, man. That's really good. Okay, so if you had a social worker, hot shot, 23 years old, right? They're like, you know what? I think I want to jump into this field with you. What do I need? What do I gotta have? What are you telling them?
gotta have understanding and also compassion. Understanding of that, I feel like a lot of people that are coming into it think that these people are just needing to get a job, that these people just need to figure it out.
Yeah.
But really, I feel like every single person is like one step away from being in that same spot. One experience or one like horrible thing happening to them and being in that same spot that those people are as well. And so that understanding of you can be just there just like them, and having that compassion of being able to sit down with them and not just think of them like, okay, let's get to the next person and try to see as many people as we can in a day. That's not what it's about. It's about how to make sure that they're seen and that they understand that they're getting the resources that they need. It
avoids the warehouse feel, right?
Yeah.
You're just getting people number 10, right? It's just
Yep.
so getting them in. And do you think it's important that your employees are people of faith? Because I know you're a faith-based organization. Do you think that's important for them to have?
Yeah, I mean, we've had people that have not been faith-based, and it's okay. But for us, like, our organization now, our whole staff is.
Yeah.
And it is something that has been nice because we can really like show the love of God.
Yeah.
And show that characteristic that he gives to us without us even deserving it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like us, we're able to give the love that we have for them and really show that characteristic, I think is huge.
Yeah. So, going a different direction because I'm feeding off of that. I like that.
Yeah.
The champion's heart of Jesus, right? How does that look in an organization, in a business? What does that look like?
That's a really good question.
I'm the champ.
Yeah. I would say the champion's heart of Jesus would not be showy.
Yeah.
So it's the person that is helping out in the background. Like the best way of explaining it would be like a janitor. So like someone that's there all the time, cleaning up the messes, cleaning up everything, making sure it's all clean.
Yeah.
It's a person that's not being pushed out in the audience, not on the TV or anything like that. It's a person that is really low key.
I like it. You were talking about having that text conversation with your friend. And we always talk about wins, man.
Yeah.
Wins are important.
Yep.
Every class we lead, with our Leaders of Tomorrow class, shameless plug.
It's a great one.
Leaders of Tomorrow, get in there. He was a graduate. That's how
was.
we get down. Anyway, tell me the importance of wins. Why is that important? Why do you think it's something that you need to take with you in what you do, especially in your profession?
Yeah, it's actually something I started doing with my staff because I felt like when I was in Leaders of Tomorrow, when you're like driving to your class, sometimes you don't have your win ready to go. But when you're driving there and you're thinking of the win, your mindset changes. And you're just like, okay, what good has been happening lately? So it's really easy, I feel like, to not think of the good things. But then thinking of the wins and the good things that are happening in your life, it makes your attitude change and you become more positive, I'd say. Yeah. I'm one that has very bad road rage. Very bad road rage.
Let's talk about that.
So,
I like that. Let's get into that.
But when I was like driving to Leaders of Tomorrow, I realized like I was so much better at it because I was like thinking of the wins and I was like, oh, I wonder what's wrong with like what's their story of like why they're driving faster or why they're driving really slow in a lane that they're supposed to be going faster. But I feel like that really changed my mindset, and that's where I changed it into the staff as well, because now I feel like with the wins, it's that mindset's changed for a lot of the staff of like, oh, okay, I have to think of a win today. And so they have one, and then we celebrate it. Yeah. And it's just the atmosphere in the office is a lot different.
How was that received at first? Because I always know how it's received when we first present it.
Yeah.
How was it received when you said, hey, we're going to talk about wins?
At first, it was very much like, I don't have any, or like, well, I have to think for a bit, or, but now I feel like they're like on top of it right away because they know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I think it was one of those things, again, it was when you're in Leaders of Tomorrow, when you start it, you're like, ugh, do we really have to do this? Like, because you have to like think like as you're driving or on the way or they're really fast, like on the moment, you're like, oh gosh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's more of like, oh, okay, now I know it and now I'm going to remember it. And it changes your positivity is a big thing, I feel like in the office.
I like that. And it's cool to see the growth, right? Where they start. And then when they got into the rhythm, it's again, just like boxing, when you're out there, once you start getting in the rhythm, it starts feeling good. When you start looking and finding wins, it starts to feel good.
Yep.
Right? So,
yeah,
I dig that, man. And that's cool that you brought it to community outreach.
Yeah.
It's $3.99 per win. So every time you guys use a win, who do we got to talk to? Well, you're the guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll send you a bill.
Yep.
So what do you think are your 3 strongest attributes that have gotten you to where you're at today?
Ooh.
I chose 3 because I'm going to be difficult.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I feel, well, I mean, I've been told multiple times compassion is a big one. I've always been a compassionate person. So my mom loves telling the story of like when I was probably 4, I think is how old I was at the time. We were driving from a small town. I'm from a small town out of Sioux Falls here. And we were driving around town and all of a sudden I screamed at my mom to stop. She thought something was in front of us. And she looked over to ask you like, what was it? And I was already gone. And so I was out the door. And
Out
I
the
was,
car?
yeah, yep.
You just jumped out the window. Okay,
Jumped out the car. Yeah.
While it
Jumped
was
out the
moving,
car.
Did you monkey roll?
Nope.
No?
It was at a stop already.
All right, cool.
Jumped out, and that was before child lock. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Jumped out of the car, and I was over helping a guy get in a door because I saw he was struggling trying to get into a store.
Wow. How old were you?
So,
4?
4.
Wow.
Yeah. So I feel like
No
I
stranger
brought
danger
that.
there at all. Right?
Yeah. Nowadays, I don't think I would do that, but
That's good. Okay.
or let my son do that. But it was one of those things where my mom already knew like I was going to be a compassionate person, and so I would say that's a big one. Then also another one would be listening. I'm really good at just like sitting and just listening to someone, and so I feel like with the role that I was in crisis care, it was very easy for me just to sit back and listen and let them talk, instead of just jumping in with another answer. Because I feel like that's something that's needed for a lot of people. Is just like they need to be able to have someone to listen.
I bet that makes you a great husband, too.
Yeah, I'm better at that than I was.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah. I feel like at first I was very much like, I want to fix this. Like right away, I want to get this figured out. But now I'm like, nope, she just needs to have somebody listen.
Yeah, we're natural fixers, and sometimes when we jump out the fix, we break it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I get
Absolutely.
that. One more. You gave me 2.
Ooh.
You said compassion. You said listening.
I would say trustworthy would be another one too.
Let's talk about that. Tell me more. Tell me.
Yeah, I feel like I'm one that sticks to what I say. I mean, yes, I definitely have mistakes.
Yep.
Everybody does. But I feel like it's one thing where if I say something, I will definitely go through with it, and not try to lie or put it on somebody else. Really take that blame if it is something that I'm supposed to be doing and was supposed to be doing and didn't do. So
That's huge.
and I feel like people can trust me.
And kids, right?
Yes.
How many kids you got?
Well, we have 2 on Earth
Right.
of 5 not
Okay.
on Earth. So
Okay.
yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it goes back to like the intention thing. I feel like with my wife and I, we were very much like, oh, we're gonna have kids, it's gonna be great, the usual story. But for us, like it was a different story. We were expecting twins,
Yep.
and we were really excited, and we lost them at 8 weeks, which was really devastating. But with the community we had and just people around us at that time, really helped us through it. And then we started trying again, and then we got pregnant with triplets. And so we were like, this is insane. We first had twins, now we have triplets, and then we lost them at 9 weeks. So we went through 2 different miscarriages, which was hard, but it's something that is part of our story.
Yeah.
And now we have 2 boys, so it's great.
What is the one thing, or maybe a couple things, you could say about what pushed you and your wife through that? Like what got you through that?
Community is a big one.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's something that everybody needs,
Yeah.
is community in their lives. Because if they don't and they feel like they're going alone with it, like I feel like with that topic specifically, it's very easy to be alone in it.
Yeah.
Because you're struggling through it. But when you are open with it and bring the community in, it's so much easier to get through it with other people. So
Man, that's awesome. I mean,
yeah.
that to be able to know the strength of that, to know you as a person, to know you as a person that I've worked with,
Yeah.
to know that you went through that and you still do the work that you do. Again, I knew I was right when I chose champion the community.
Yep.
For sure, that solidified it for us.
Yeah.
I thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
that's tough to share, but it's to help someone else. And again, that's the giving heart. That's the attributes of a champion. Your compassion.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's awesome. I appreciate that, man. We're wrapping up.
All right.
I appreciate you being here. Again, you are recognized as a champion of this community. That's why I got you on the show. Real quick, favorite part of throwing the punches. What was it?
Ooh, just learning how to do it right.
Huh?
That was nice. And then the connection.
That pop, right?
Yeah, the pop was really nice.
Yeah, I told
It
you.
felt
once
really
you
good.
your beard went like this.
Yeah.
Free enough. Right? and then wiggled on this side. I said, oh, he's turning. And then your eyebrows, Fred, it was crazy.
Had a little Popeye
Yeah,
moment.
it was
That's what-
nuts.
yeah.
I got scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Good.
terrified.
Glad.
Zeus got scared too. We dropped the camera once. Sorry, we'll pay for it. Well, appreciate you again, man.
Yes.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
It's the champ.